Good morning. Well, good afternoon. Dad and I just got back from a meeting we had. One of our companies we do business with putting on a grower meeting, so we went up and listened to them talk for a little bit. And just getting back to the shop, we're going to work on a corn planter here for a little bit. We're going to go through this in a few minutes. Just take a row unit apart, and I'll show you kind of what all we need to do to it maintenance-wise and to get ready for spring. Before we get to that, however, we got a delivery. Had to have one of my buddies come and unload this because it came and I didn't really know it was coming. But this is the start of some of our spring fertilizer needs and in-season fertility stuff. So we're going to talk about this a little bit. So I have a new company that I've started working with a little bit this year, the Andersons. Now, I say new company that we've started working with. We've been selling them grain for a while and stuff, but never really used their crop input supply side of stuff, the agronomy side of it. And they have some foliar feed products, some starter fertilizer products, and things that I wanted to try. And so we talked a little bit about some stuff, went through a plan, and this is just a part of what I have gotten from them. But yeah, a lot of different products here that I'm excited to see how it works for us. So the two totes are the same. They are actually an in-furrow starter fertilizer. Let's see, can I get to one of these labels where I can see it a little better? Yeah, right here. So this is what we're using. It's called Season Pass with microcarb and Power Pass technology, and this is the diamond grade of it, meaning that it is 100% orthophosphate and not polyphosphate. This is a 6-18-6. It's 1% sulfur and a little bit of zinc in it. It also has some fulvic acid. Yeah. I don't know. This combines a lot of the things that I was putting in my starter, in my in-furrow starter last year into one product, but I don't have to worry about mixing stuff in season, and I am pretty excited about that. And then over here on the pallets, we're not going to tear this apart, but we have a few different products in here. This is mostly stuff for our foliar feed stuff. So we have a, well, let's see, Overpass 2202. I think this is for on beans. I'll have to go back through the list that they gave me exactly. The Sweet and Easy, that is a sugar product that we were going to use. We've got a product called Phosfix up here. I know you can't see it very good because it's all wrapped up, but we've got a plan. We've got a whole big long plan of where we're going to use all this stuff. This is Sweet and Easy. This is Overpass 10-210. One of them's for beans. One of them is for corn. So we'll talk more about these as we're using them, but it's the start. We do have more of this starter fertilizer. This is essentially what I am going to use for our in-furrow on everything. This is not enough, but we'll be getting some in semi-load of it, putting in some of the tanks out there. It's a little bit different formulation, different grade that I'm going to use for the bulk of it, but wanted to try some of this stuff here in the totes. So that's what we've got. So thank you to the Andersons for helping me out with that stuff and partnering with me here on this, and I'm looking forward to seeing how everything does for us this year. All right, we'll tear a row unit apart in a minute here. I'm giving these plates for the bean planter another coat of graphite, and then we'll be done with them. They can go back in the box, get the corn plates out, and get those washed up. I'm not sure why this wing settled on me. This wing settled. It's not good. I don't like that. Can't do much about it until I hook the tractor back up, but see, that one's still up. This one's not. Okay, that's done. So we use this. It's a graphite lubricant spray-on stuff. Basically, there's a seal on the back of the vacuum doors that rub on these plates, and that graphite helps lubricate them, keeps them from wearing the plates out so fast, and everything's sliding nice and smoothly. So we spray them every year, put 2 coats on before the season starts. Okay, I've got a few minutes here. I gotta go pick up my kids in a little bit from school. So we're gonna tear one of these row units apart. I'm gonna just show you kind of what we have to do to it. So first thing we're gonna do, pull off our vacuum hose, our seed hose, right? And then we can open this latch up and the meter comes off. So that's this. We're gonna set it over here and let's disassemble this because this has all gotta get cleaned and washed. So we pull the latch open and the lid, and it's a different design, but it is essentially the same procedure as what we did on the bean planter. We're gonna clean this door seal up. Whether we pull it out, yeah, we're gonna pull it out because it's already halfway hanging out, so that's no good. Okay, we'll soak that in some water. We'll clean this up really good. We're gonna pull this seal off, the hub seal. We're gonna look at our brushes, make sure they're not frayed. We're gonna wash all of this out and clean it. We're gonna go ahead and pull this double eliminator off. I'm gonna need 2 hands. These little fingers here, those are the that eliminate the doubles from the seed discs. We need to clean all of that stuff up. We're gonna inspect the outer double eliminator on the outside edge here. That looks okay. We'll pull this lid off. And we're gonna pull this piece out. That needs cleaned. And we're gonna wash everything else down inside there. I suppose we could pull off this little plastic piece here, although I don't know if it's super necessary. That will come out of there. I just don't want to break it. Okay. So the door latch handle will come off. Okay. That's relatively disassembled. This wear strip or agitator strip comes out. We don't really need to take that out, but that all needs washed. Okay, we come back over here, and we're going to take off this cover. This is just a shield cover, whatever. Makes it look prettier. And now you can see our electric motors. This one drives the meter. This one drives the brush belt. So we're going to pull this brush belt out. This planter does not have a seed tube. It has a brush belt. This is the component that allows us to plant fast, to go high speed, because we are controlling the seed drop. Instead of free falling from here to the ground, it's controlled via this brush. So we pop that kind of loose, and then we should be able to pull it up. At some point, it'll come out of there. Come on. Oh yeah, I forgot. If this handle is in the way, meaning where it's supposed to be, those are hard to get out. You got to kind of put that up there. Then this pulls out of here. We've got to unhook our wire harness, which probably requires 2 hands. Yep. Okay. And then this comes out. I'm going to lay this on the bench and pop the cover off here. Some tabs. Okay. We got a beanstalk stuck in there. That's no good. These are not under tension. There's a tensioner on the side here. We let that off before we put it away so that it wouldn't wreck the, well, not wreck, but so there was no tension on the belts and there was no memory to it. Okay, then we're going to pull this bottom one off here. We're going to wash all of that stuff. We're going to actually pull the belt. Okay. Now we can inspect this, looking for damaged bristles, for missing bristles. We've got a little bit of stuff messed up there, really not a big deal. A groove or in the center where the seeds run, that kind of stuff. Any cracking of the backing, the belt, anything that would make that look like it was not usable anymore. I don't see anything really bad there. And then the rest of this just gets cleaned up. This is our seed sensor. We just need to make sure that this lens gets nice and clean so that it can see the seed. Okay, we'll come back over here to our row unit. That's about all we have to take off from the meter standpoint. We don't need to worry about these motors. We might get a hose and just rinse stuff down a little bit just as we're taking it apart and can get in there a little bit better. But we also need to look at our openers. Well, we'll start up front here. So we've got these row cleaners, and we need to just make sure the bearings are good, inspect them a little bit. Everything seems fine. There's not a whole lot that can go wrong there except for a bearing. We've got our conceals. We run these precision conceals on this planter. This is for our 2x2x2 fertilizer. There's a tube right here that runs down through here, and it comes out the bottom point. Oh yeah. remove that so we can lift this wheel up. Fertilizer comes out right there. We want to make sure none of these tails are broken off, none of the mounting bolts or anything is broken there. There's a spring here, we can inspect that, make sure everything moves a little bit. Checking our gauge wheels, we've got to check this gap. We've got to check our openers. I need to pull one off to check the diameter of it, make sure that we don't need new openers. They look worn. I don't know how worn, but they do look worn. And if they're good and we don't need to replace them, we've got to check the contact gap here with the business card, same as we did on the bean planter. As we move back the row unit, we've got our closing wheels. These were new a year ago. They're Copperhead Furrow Cruiser cast, and they should be fine, but we'll just check the bearings and make sure everything's good there. So that's what we've got to do to every row unit. There's 24 of them. It's going to take a little bit of time to go through it all, but we should get there. So I wanted to pull an opener off. In order to do that, you got to take the closing wheel, or the gauge wheel off. Sorry, not the closing wheel, the gauge wheel. In order to take the gauge wheel off, you've got to move this precision conceal opener knife down. So you got to pull this pin that goes in through up here and push that down out of the way. It's kind of a hassle, but it's a really good system. I like the way that it works. Okay, then we pull that cover off, and we can pull off an opener. We'll get a measurement. Let's see. This should be right-handed threads. This should be normal. Yeah. The other side is left-handed threads. And if you don't know that, you will break it. Okay, so here's our shank. This is the mounting stud for the seed disc openers. This is our seed tube guard, seed tube protector. And there's our seed disc. And just looking at it, it looks significantly worn to me. Looks like we might be putting openers on here, but we got to take it over to the bench. We're going to get a tape measure out and see what it measures. So they start at 15 inches in diameter new. We replace them if they're at 14 and a half. Deere will say 14, but that's 14 and a half. I think it's time. It's not one that's next to a wheel track. Maybe we'll pull another one off somewhere else, but I think we're going to be ended up putting new openers on this planter, which creates significantly more work, but that's okay. We got to do it. It's got to be done. It doesn't have to be done. You know what I mean? If you want to do a good job, it's got to be done. This is the most important tool on the farm as far as getting off to a good start, making everything, giving it its full potential. If you can't plan it right, you don't stand a chance. So we want to make sure everything's in good shape. All right, time for me to go and get the boys. Since that opener is worn, I pretty much know what I'm going to find on the rest, but we are going to walk over to the other side, do some due diligence, and pull one off that's not anywhere close to a tire track. And we'll say this one. We'll just see what this measures, if they are all the same and they compare, if they're comparable. So we got to drop this conceal out again. Got to pull this little clip out, which is a little bit difficult to do. There it goes. And then this pin will push out. It's a lot easier if you push up on that a little bit. Take the pressure off of it, and then that folds down. Clears out of there. Now I gotta pull our gauge wheel off. Got that. Pop our cap off of here. This one we haven't taken the row unit apart yet, the meter and everything, so you can see that brush belt cartridge in here. All right, we're on the other side of the row, so left-handed threads go backwards. Come on. Come on. I'm sure that these openers are original. This planter, it's a 21 model, but it only has 2 years of use on it, and one of those was me last year, so yeah. Looks pretty similar to me. call it 14 and 9/16. I think we're getting new openers. And then the question is, are these worn enough to warrant replacing? And I don't think so. Just looking at them, they've got a high wear strip on the side there. I think those seed tube guards are probably okay. So, new openers. We'll figure out how much that's going to cost and which ones we want to use. I can get the Deere ones, or there are several aftermarket companies, some of which may be better quality than Deere's, to be honest. Okay. I ordered new openers. They're on their way. So after the activities, we'll call it, last night, I just backed the trailer in the barn. Didn't get it unloaded, so I'm getting that now. It is brutal cold today. Yesterday was 70 degrees, and my hands are numb out here, the wind blowing today. Anyway, I'm going to put this seed that made it here in the back of the shop, and then the trailer will be ready for the next load that we will have better luck with. I'm hoping on Friday I can actually deliver some seed for the guy I'm warehousing for. I've got a list of 4 guys that are kind of in an area that I need to make a trip to anyway. And if I could take a trailer load of seed with me, that would be helpful. All right, well, we got that unloaded. Close our doors up here.